Made from the same steel as the Titanic.
The Titanic.
You can't even see where the Titanic hit it.
I need this to look like Titanic. It's the Titanic of play openings, but with no survivors.
He came up to me earlier and thanked me for my very moving performance in Titanic.
I can literally make the final dish served on the Titanic.
Oh.
You know, the Titanic studios need a backlot, and there was one really obvious one sitting here.
Be easier to raise the Titanic.
A Titanic figure of limitless ambition.
Father owned a grocery shop bottom of the Newton Arch Road right near the shipyard where the Titanic was built.
Now, you're riding on the Titanic.
Together, they'd have sunk the Titanic.
I haven't cried like that since Titanic.
When the Titanic was going down, there were lifeboats.
I'd have been on the Titanic, I would have gone down with the buffet.
Does the name Titanic ring a bell?
Hello, boy! It's the Titanic all over again!
And after me, it'll be him, and then you, then the Titanic, and the fucking mafia, Alfie.
One part of your life does a Titanic.
The Titanic.
They were very important in the movie Titanic.
Served first-class guests on the Titanic during their last dinner.
This is me doing the Titanic pose on the boat.
Santiago and I will be performing the steerage jig from the film Titanic, which we have prepared for in no way, shape, or form.
But you go ahead and write your Titanic story, the one where we go down.
I'm fiddling on the Titanic tonight.
You'll lose your stateroom on the Titanic?
No, of course.
Billy Zane, Titanic.
Next you'll tell us Escobar sank the Titanic.
Titanic. That he was building sets for the Titanic movie down in Mexico.
Oh, come on. Who remembers the names of boats that don't sink?
Mine had the actual Titanic in it.
Besides, Titanic didn't suck that bad.
I'm about to be 5 for 5. Titanic.
Let's sink the Titanic.
It's like the last 20 minutes of Titanic in here.
Why did you throw the blue heart of the ocean jewel over the railing of the Titanic?
Great, a Titanic reference.
Interesting fact, this grandfather clock was on the Titanic and was saved by Sir Aldridge.
Kate is an iceberg waiting for the Titanic.
They were drinking coffee on the Titanic.
The theme song from Titanic.
The Titanic could have hit that.
Titanic off the tee, approach shots which fell to earth.
You look like
The old chick in Titanic.
The Titanic?
Yeah, that one.
I think that he bought a ticket on the Titanic.
Right now, I'm building the sets for the Titanic movie in Mexico.
This is my Titanic record.
I got you this necklace. Titanic, 1997.
She was reading that to her school kids the year the Titanic went down.
Mom, she's taking the Titanic without asking.
Now look, the Titanic heard about this, right?
It was the Titanic.
I mean, who saw the movie Titanic?
Sinking the Titanic.
Yeah, going down like the fucking Titanic.
Didn't the Titanic bang into her?
We know you've been giving the Titanic boys information as well.
Like the old lady from Titanic. Or the funny things that they can do, like Where's the Beef?
From there, I was in charge of sloops, battleships, brigantines, the Titanic for 2 seconds.
His feelings in Titanic conflict.
It's as though she went into Titanic convulsions.
I heard they were sinking a crate of it down to the Titanic to try and raise it.
And to face this Titanic threat to Miss Ives, we four and Mr. Chandler. And
You cry every time somebody talks about Titanic.
The secret's locked deep inside the hull of Titanic.
Well, from my perspective, you're that Titanic loser of a teacher I once had.
Then I run the fuck out of here, go to my trailer, because I got more white girls in there than the first lifeboat on the Titanic.
Not more of that crap from the Titanic.
Like Titanic said, a woman's heart is an ocean of secrets.
You're not making the sets for the Titanic movie.
So you can keep rearranging the deck chairs of the Titanic if it makes you feel better.
Rearranging chairs on the goddamn Titanic.
Table dancing destitute on the bottom deck of the Titanic.
These things could raise the Titanic.
It would have lived happily ever after.
Did you know the Titanic sank the same week Fenway Park opened?
I am saving you from disaster because you're asking to pre-board the Titanic.
Love theme from Titanic. Good, but not really appropriate.
You ever see Titanic?
No,
Me either. You want something to drink?
Reenie's tap dancing on the Titanic.
Us be on the prow of the Titanic.
The last thing they built was the Titanic.
I mean, if someone misses 1 month's rent, you're gonna go down like the Titanic.
They called her Titanic.
Don't you know that all great, truly great art comes from the struggle, the Titanic, the epic, the eternal struggle?
We're losing passengers faster than the Titanic.
Well, yes, I wanted to be in show business, but that ship sailed much like the Titanic.
now before long, we'll be transported to the heavens on a maiden voyage of Titanic proportion.
James Cameron's Titanic Cafe was a great idea.
Memorable, just like the Titanic.
They can raise the Titanic for all I care, as long as we walk free and clear.
And by Titanic, I mean your cock.
He was there when the Titanic went down.
Ever heard of Noah's Ark? Ever heard of the Titanic?
And the Titanic was my ship. I bought it after the Titanic bonus.
So was the crew of the Titanic.
Terminator?
Okay.
It's the same guy who did Titanic.
It's like the raising of the Titanic down there. Look.
Including, if I might add, the nephew of the actor who jumped third into the fourth lifeboat on Titanic.
Just because I'd have to believe if nothing mattered, you'd love me and not some man whose chin could sink the Titanic.
Terrell Owens, the man with more baggage than a first-class passenger on the Titanic. Reaching but funny.
The sinking of the Titanic is going to be a tea party compared to this.
It would be such a Titanic help if you would just tidy up a bit.
Piece for piece, it's the biggest waste of steel since the Titanic.
Her brim swept up, her eyes filled with the glory, the spectacle that was Titanic.
What the fuck is this place anyway? The Titanic? What is this?
It's the Titanic.
And we got fellas here who worked on St. Paul's Cathedral, pyramids, the Titanic, which they tell me was quite an engineering feat despite its later mishap.
He thinks there might be Russian things and...
It's too late now. The Titanic has already sailed.
This is the Titanic.
On the Titanic, you didn't hear about that?
Picked up Titanic.
The captain and the lieutenant was having a few words when the great Titanic hit that mighty iceberg.
I'd rather take the Titanic.
Kalani,
I watch Titanic by myself, alone, in my room every night, stuffing my face with honey barbecue Fritos.
Hans, you're not making the Titanic.
Because we have everything in common. There's not something that goes over our head. We talk about...
Was Titanic out yet?
Yes, we saw the iceberg, we warned the Titanic.
Big enough to take down the Titanic.
But in the very same way that Kate Winslet was introduced in Titanic.
Those were from the Titanic!
A guy like that deserves the Titanic.
Titanic is still in orbit.
What can you do to convince me I wouldn't be aboard the Titanic? Because
I lived for Titanic in high school.
I wish I hadn't seen Titanic.
I am Benjaveri. Titanic Toy Corporation.
Maybe the time wasn't Titanic enough.
Can't believe you told me the ending to Titanic.
Get a little Titanic out here.
Sank the Titanic with a frozen turd. Then won 10 Grammys and didn't sing or rap one goddamn motherfucking word.
Well, you don't have to be on a fucking Titanic to know it sank, if you know what I mean.
Welcome to the Titanic, Captain.
It's like talking to somebody on a wreck of the Titanic.
Whenever we like the Titanic. I'm the bloody Titanic and some chopped up solicitors clerk tells me I'm overreacting.
It's like Titanic on a blimp.
He confessed to sinking the Titanic.
Brewster started home on the Titanic.
So is the Titanic.
Stunning blue eyes like Leonardo DiCaprio from Titanic. And there was just something about him that connected with me.
It's fun. Seriously, Titanic. I mean, they changed a little. There was no...
Oh, but the Titanic.
Apparently, one woman's Titanic is another woman's love boat.
You can find a Titanic with this stuff, man.
It's like that line from the movie Titanic.